Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a cell phone, please place it in silent mode. The funeral service will be conducted by Rabbi Amy Memisfala.
Мы опять будем повторять этот, что мы только что говорили. Барох ата Адонай, повторяйте Барох ата Адонай, Элохейну мелech хаолам. Сейчас надо Барох, так говорите. Повторяйте, вы должны повторить Барох.
Baruch.
Вы должны повторить. Okay, we'll just say it. Baruch ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam,
Dayan.
Dayan ha'emet, Dayan, Dayan ha'emet, ha'emet, ha'emet.
And this is a symbol of how you're
Моя
feeling.
родная сестра. Я же ничего не теряю. Ничего это.
Custom is to wear it for the period of Shiva, 7 days on each side, and then during the jacket down for the period of Shloshim. Do you want to translate a little bit during the service? Okay, so I'll stop and pause. Okay? Death has taken our beloved Natalia, Manya, Miriam Tschernobelsky. Our friends grieve in their darkened world. In their silence there is lamentation. In their tears there is loneliness. Lost in their sorrow, may they find the presence of loving friends and family. Hear them, O God, and be with them. For Miriam's love that united us in life, which death cannot sever. For her companionship that we shared along life's path and which continues through the tenderness of memory. For the gifts of her heart and mind that brought us joy and happiness and is now a precious remembrance. For all these and more, we give our thanks to God. In this time of grief, we listen to the voice of our sacred scriptures that brings us the ever new message of God's nearness. It tells us of our kinship with the Creator, in light as in darkness, in joy as in sorrow, in life as in death. We find these words in our High Holy Day liturgy. Birth is a beginning and death a destination, but life is a journey, a going, a growing from stage to stage, from childhood to maturity and youth to age, from innocence to awareness and ignorance to knowing, from foolishness to discretion and then perhaps to wisdom, from weakness to strength or strength to weakness and often back again, from health to sickness and back we pray to health again, from offense to forgiveness, from loneliness to love, from joy to gratitude, from pain to compassion and grief to understanding, from fear to faith, from defeat to defeat to defeat, until looking backward or ahead, we see that victory lies not at some high place along the way, but in having made the journey, stage by stage, a sacred pilgrimage. Birth is a beginning and death a destination. But life is a journey, a sacred pilgrimage made stage by stage, from birth to death to life everlasting. Adonai ro'i lo echsar binot deshet yarbatzeni, al mei menuchot yinachaleni. Nafshi yeshovev yancheni v'maglei tzedek lema'an shemo. Gam ki elech begates al mavet lo irara, ki ata imadi. Shivtecha umishantecha, hema yenachamuni, ta'aroch lefanai shulchan neged sodorai, shanta v'shem en roshi, kosi v'vaya. Ah, tov v'chesed yerdefuni kol yemei chayai, v'shavti b'veit Adonai, le'orech yamin. The words of the 23rd Psalm can be found in your folder if you'd like to read together with me. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. This week, Jews around the world are reading in the cycle of our Torah, the end of the book of Leviticus, the double Torah portion, Behar Bechukotai. Traditionally, when Jews finish reading a book in the Torah, we recite the words Chazak, Chazak, V'nit Chazek, meaning be strong, and let us be strengthened. Today, we are gathered to mark the end of the book of the 91 years of the life of Natalia Miriam Tschernobelsky. We celebrate her long life, and we acknowledge that we will start anew. It's hard to believe that we move on to a new book, one in which Miriam is now with us in our memories. In this time of grief, let us be strengthened and comforted by recalling some of the stories of the book of Miriam Tschernobelsky's life. She was born with the name Manya, as it was written on her birth certificate. But when she came to this country, they changed her name to Natalia with an N, which became her legal name. But she went by Natalia with an M, or more often by her Hebrew name, Miriam. Miriam, Manya, Natalia, Matalia. All these names reflect the different types of adjustments that Miriam endured through the earlier years of her life, as she moved homes around the globe and faced new challenges in each place. Born Manya in 1926 in a small village outside of Kiev to parents the late Yitzhak and Shprinza of Letuchia, Manya was the middle sister of three. Her older sister was Dora, Zichrona Levracha, and her younger sister, Nina. Nina. Our condolences to you, Nina. Miriam was a dear sister to you and to your husband, Leonid. Growing up in Ukraine in 1940s was difficult to say the least, especially for a Jewish family. In 1941, the war began and Shprinza evacuated with her three daughters to the west, staying in the Ural Mountains. Dora then received a scholarship for agricultural study, and she left Shprinza, Miriam, and Nina behind to live on a farm. Unfortunately, Miriam's grandparents didn't make it through the war. They were shot in Babi Yar. When the war was over, they came back to Kiev and lived in a basement. They struggled to find work and food and went hungry sometimes. They were poor, but somehow persevered. One special personal memory of mine that I shared with Miriam, Natalia, was when she came with her children and grandchildren going through the Illinois Holocaust Museum and Education Center. She went through the exhibit with us, and for her, this was not history. It was personal, part of her family story. And here she survived not just with one, but with 2 generations after her. Miriam was very smart. She studied at the Institute of Foreign Languages. Upon graduation, she knew Spanish, Polish, Russian, and Ukrainian. She wanted to become a translator, but because she was Jewish, she could not get this type of job in communist Ukraine in the 1950s and 60s. So she became a kindergarten teacher. She later became a secretary, a job she would see again when she came to the United States. She met Joseph Tschernobelsky when she was older than most women getting married at that time, and there weren't too many good prospects. So Joseph was a good one. And they were married in 1955. A year later, their son Zorek was born. Joseph, as he was known, was a Zionist, and he wrote an article which Miriam had typed for him in a Jewish newspaper. And when the Soviet powers that be found out about this article, they thought Joseph to be a spy and took the young couple in for questioning. Joseph and Miriam and their young son were forced to leave the country. It was 1967, about the time of the Six-Day War in Israel. But Israel was the place where they decided to move, and 1 year later, their second child, Ayala, was born in Israel. Miriam was a devoted wife to Joseph, and after 5 years, when a work opportunity opened in Germany, the whole family moved there. When you, Ayala, were just about 5 years old. But living in Germany, especially after the Shoah, was a challenge. Ayala, you recall that even though you were in Western Germany and that the war was over, your family hid the Jewish side of themselves. Your stay in Germany only lasted a few years, and Miriam and Joseph and their 2 children came to the United States. The Jewish experience was so much different in this country. The Tschernobelskys were sponsored by a family from the temple in Elkhart, Indiana, which helped them in a variety of ways when they arrived. The family lived in Indiana for a few years and then came to Chicago. Miriam, uprooted several times in her life from her previous home, learned to adjust and to be tough, to be strong. But life was about to get more challenging. Her beloved Joseph was diagnosed with lung cancer, and 3 years after coming to the Golden Medina, Joseph died. Miriam was left as a single parent with a 20-year-old son and 9-year-old daughter, as she did her darndest to raise her kids by herself and give them whatever she could, especially good educations. Miriam worked as a secretary at the Amalgamated and then helped people, especially Russians, who did not know English, prepare their income taxes or other applications. And she wanted to start her own matchmaking business, a yenta on top of all her other skills. Miriam was determined as a single mother to do what it takes to raise her children and give them the best that she knew. She taught you, Ayala, how to ride a bike, even though she never learned that skill herself. Your brother Zorek studied at the Hebrew Theological College. Your mom took you on vacations to places like Florida after Epcot opened, the Adirondack Mountains in New York, and even Aruba. Since your brother was 11 years older than you, he moved out of the house and left for California. Unfortunately, he died at a very young age of 33, and Miriam endured yet another difficult time. For a parent, watching her child go first is the wrong order. And yet she persevered. You saw how your mother was independent and determined, learning to drive at the age of 55. She was a good and caring mother, a loving mother-in-law to Ken, whom it took a while for you two to become close, but she so appreciated all the ways that you helped Ayala take care of her. It was all that was difficult in her early years. Miriam strove to live a good life and provide for her children, not only with the necessities, but with the extra enrichments in life. Perhaps she would take you to a museum, or she showed you how much fun simply picking the blackberries on Damon during your food shopping excursions to the Dominics could be. Ayala, you have done the same for your family. For your mother, you gave back so much, and you see other traits in yourself that are like your mother. How you two are independent, perhaps even stubborn at times, thorough, good with numbers like your mom, and being a loving, caring person just like your mother was. Your children might add that you are also overprotective like your mother was. Miriam was also a beloved Nana to her grandchildren Joseph and Hannah. She loved spending time with you guys, and doing so gave her such joy. She was proud of you, and she rejoiced sharing in your B'nai Mitzvah Simchas or other milestone occasions in your lives. And it was not always easy over these last several years as your Nana's dementia and Alzheimer increased. But when you did spend time with her, and your presence made her smile, in turn, that made you smile too. And all the other things about Miriam, how she enjoyed spending time with her friends, how she liked to sew and make pillowcases and duvet covers, how she enjoyed singing the traditional Russian songs, how she loved her cat Mary, how she would read the papers, the Russian ones especially, not quite sure which articles were true and the others perhaps merely propaganda. How she liked to get into debates, especially a good political debate. How she was a talented cook, favorite to Ken, her borscht, because she did not put in beans. And all the other things about Miriam, Manya, Tschernobelsky that would take another 91 years to tell. As we conclude one book in the Torah and move to the next, we say, Chazak, Chazak v'nitchazek. Be strong, and let us be strengthened. In the midst of our sadness, let us also be strengthened and comforted by one another, as well as the memories and stories which now complete the book of Miriam Tschernobelsky's life and move us to start our next book anew. Although she is no longer with us in this world, something of Miriam can never die. She lives on in our memories and in the hearts of all who knew and loved her. O God of comfort, comfort and strengthen us now, and help us to keep alive the memory so dear to us in Natalia, Manya, Miriam Tschernobelsky. Amen. We rise now for El Malei Rachamim. El Malei Rachamim Shochein Bamromim Amitzei Menucha Nekona Tachat Kanfei Hashchina Im Kedoshim Utehurim Kezohar Harakia Masirim Et Nishmat Miriam Bat Yitzchak Ushprinza Shehalcha Leolama Ba'arachamim יסתיריה בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתה, אדוני הוא נחלתה, ותנוח בשלום על משכבה, ונאמר Amen. O God, let her find refuge in the shadow of your wings, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. And let us say, Amen. We continue now with the words of Mourner's Kaddish, which you can find in your folder.
It's in Russian.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divra chirutei v'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon u'b'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam omei omaya, yitbarach v'yishabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shemei dekudesha b'riyachu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechamata, da'amiran v'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, V'imru Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to all who are bereaved, and let us say, Amen. This is earth from Israel. We can't be buried in Israel.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're now doing the burial. In a few minutes, the casket lowering device will be removed. You'll have an opportunity to put some flowers or earth into the grave. In doing so, please do it gently, and then you don't pass the shovel from one person to the next. Just place it back into the earth. The family is going after this service to the Red Apple Buffet. The address is in the programs that we've handed out. And then they'll, on Sunday, they'll be at the daughter's residence, at Ayla and Ken's residence in Des Plaines.
Да, мой папа. Вот, это рядом. Да. Да. Я не говорю, потому что это... Я вам сказала, мне ничего не делать, хорошо, что вы хорошо что вы не поняли. Хорошо, что вы не поняли. Я сказала, вы не поняли. Лучше, что вы не поняли, потому что не надо сама сказать. Не надо вам это. Хорошо, давайте пойдем танцевать. Все, хорошо. Вы должны быть здоровы, вы должны быть здоровы. Моя мама вот сейчас мы ее переносим. Вот, Маня, моя мама, ваша сестра. Да. Да. Я буду скучать за ней.
You're welcome to come and
Я буду
take a
скучать.
shovel, put some earth in the grave, or put the flowers in, or the flowers can go on top of the grave as well.
Would you like to participate in the burial?
You want to place those in the grave or on top of the grave? The grave's usually the Russian families wait till afterwards to put the flowers on top. Okay.
Я их положу наверх. Они говорят, он мне дал выбор, я могу или положить их в середину, или наверх. Вчера, 4:45 утра, я была с ней. 4:45. Очень рано. Я была вместе с ней.
You can come around to either side.